Connections which result in the revelation of something entirely unexpected are often the catalyst of a great story. A string of coincidences that will seem contrived, but made more amazing by the very truth of their connections.
My dad sadly passed away in 2019, and his dear friend John Weddell, his childhood friend, came along to the funeral, and I hadn't seen him for many years, and we had a great time, had a good chat, talking about my dad's childhood days, and he'd introduced John to golf actually, and my dad wasn't a golfer. But we vowed to keep in touch, and over the coming months we text one another, we had a few phone calls, really just to see how each other's golf games were. And one phone call he said, "Jamie, I've got a parcel that I've just sent in the mail for you. You should get it in a few days. I think you'll really like it." So a few days went past, and it arrived through the mail. I opened it up, and it was a beautiful book by Peter Allis of Shell's Wonderful World of Golf. And John knew that I started to collect golf books, and I hadn't got this one, and it was from the 1960s, and I actually had Peter Allis's signature on the front cover. And I was flicking through the pages, and suddenly this bit of paper dropped out. So I've opened the piece of paper up, and on it was a map of Holy Island, which is the small island that we're going to visit today, that's just at the northeast coast of England. And on the map, on the left hand side of the island, there was some writing, Holy Island golf links, an actual map of a golf course. And underneath the map there was a press cutting talking about this golf links on Holy Island that closed in the late 1950s. Now, I had visited Holy Island for years and years as a kid, and I remember playing over the dunes where the golf links were, and I had absolutely no idea. This was all news to me. So I was straight on the phone to John. I said, "John, thanks very much for sending the book across, and I'm so intrigued by this map of this golf links. I'd never heard of it." And John really hadn't heard of it either, but he'd kept this press cutting for years, but we never thought anything of it. So of course that was the start of this crazy journey that's really highlighted so many different things to me personally. This discovery of what this golf links was, who brought it to life, why it closed, finding out about my family's heritage and how involved that was in the golf links. It's been quite a journey to get to this point.
This journey of discovery started with a call to my aunt, who lives just a short distance from Lindisfarne. I asked her if she knew anything about the golf course in Holy Island, but she had no clue at all. One of the other avenues of inquiry which we discovered led us to chat with a local man, Dick Patterson. who lives on Lindisfarne and has done all his days. At the age of 79 and still a canny golfer at the nearby Goswick Golf Club, Dick is responsible, along with some local islanders, for the running of the Heritage Centre and Archives. We spoke to him at length about his memories of the course and the history they had uncovered.
Well, I can just remember it. I think I must probably be about 9 or 10 years old, but I can remember as boys we used to play out there in the sand dunes and amongst the golf course, and it closed, I think, probably 1954, 55. I'm not sure exactly what, but and it had always been there as far as I knew, and then when it closed, obviously I didn't sort of take a lot of notice, because being that age it wasn't a big thing. They were closing the golf course. But as I got older, and then when I started to play golf, I thought what a great idea it would be if we could resurrect the old James Braid golf course here on Holy Island on Lindisfarne.
It's almost like a slightly different grass, isn't it?
Yeah.
It has that circular square shape to it. Yeah, it's just amazing to think that a golf course is under your feet that's been lost. Quite a scene, isn't it?
Imagine James Braid arriving here and sort of saying, "What did you say? You want to make a golf course here?" I said, "Well, let's have a look."
I guess it was almost like a moment caught in time where, you know, all these connections that I had discovered through the research that I'd done just sort of flooded through my feet. You know, I was standing on, for me, hallowed turf. You know, it's turf that my ancestors played golf on. You know, and it's a links that I knew nothing about until, you know, this year at the age of 46. You know, so it was a really surreal feeling, and, you know, being able to walk the links and walk the ground, and, you know, I guess it was almost like it was my St Andrews. You know, people often talk about walking the hallowed links of St Andrews and what it means to them, and, you know, all these amazing golfers that have walked before them. You know, for me it felt like I was walking on hallowed turf from, you know, family heritage gone past that have walked those links.